Okay, guys, so thank you for coming on. I know, again, we're doing something a little bit different by doing it at noon time. So I know a lot of people are working that we can't get everybody on, but again, we're recording this so that we can share this information with everybody. But so again, in our organization, this is something special we're doing for the Can Do organization. So again, I'm Anna Vierling, Senior Director here in Monmouth, Maine. And what I thought that we would do, we've got plenty of consultants on our team that are doing virtual parties, especially a lot of the newer consultants are dabbling, or we're making sure that they do virtual, even if they're doing cooking as well, just because I think that it's good for them to have the, to have that really good stretch. I'm jet lagged still, okay, so I'm going to just blame this probably all week on this, but to have a good wide variety of experience. Thank you to be able to get into all of it, especially because I think that it's important to have virtual as well as the cooking, because so many people, newer consultants, are coming in, and that is something that we want to do. So we need to know and be able to help people. So what I did was pull together two directors on our team, actually, Tori Snowdeal and Michelle Mason, who have not only, are running successful personal businesses, but they've actually grown a team and built a team just by doing virtual parties and focusing on virtual parties as well. That is hilarious. This is, usually we get dogs and cats with Megan. Now we've got Megan as friends.
It's Megan's boss. The other Megan.
The other Megan.
It's Megan's.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do was just to sort of go through, and again, we wanted to find out what their key things that they're doing. I've been watching some of the new consultants' virtual parties and seeing what they're posting and interacting, and I think they're doing a great job. But I know that when it comes down to it, that getting bookings from these virtual parties as well as recruit leads, that's really key, and to keep the business going. I've said this all the time, even with cooking shows, that I could throw a pizza down, people are going to buy stuff. It's the point of how to get the bookings, how to get the recruit leads, to sort of continue your business. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just sort of do a little bit of a introduction of both these ladies, so sort of where they're coming from and the success that they have. So Tori Snowdeal in Poland.
No, I'm in South Paris.
Oh, South Paris. She's in South Paris, over that way in South Paris. Tori started her business in May of 2017 and has 11 personal recruits since then. Her team has been recruiting and stuff as well, so building a really strong business that way. And Tori does, it was looking, and your virtual party average is about $400, which is really good for virtual parties. And she's probably running about 5 to 6 months is what we're thinking, as well as now she's getting into more and more cooking shows and stuff as well. But so to keep that really nice and consistent as well. And I know, I didn't check, but I know that Tori's selling, a good, at least 2,500 months this year. So that's a good goal. So now Michelle has been a consultant this time around, right? This is not her first rodeo, but Michelle Mason lives in Lewiston, Maine, and she's been doing this since June of 2017. And I love this because Tori's career sales, your career sales, Tori, are $34,381. Michelle's career sales are $34,757. They're like $400 apart. And you guys only signed up a month apart too, which is fun too. And Michelle also has 11 recruits on her team as well. Michelle has beat her director several times, that's me, in sales. And Michelle, though, her show average is about $300 per show, which is still, again, we talk about that all the time, that if you're talking about virtual parties, that you need to do about 2 virtual parties for every cooking show, and cooking show average is $600. That's the national average. So that would make sense to me. That's about 300. Michelle's is submitting about 12 to 13 parties a month, running them at the same time, and stuff as well. So with that kind of schedule, Michelle's selling $4,000 to $5,000 a month just on virtual parties, and having enough to keep that consistent. So I think that's really exciting, those kind of numbers. But that again is why they've got the recruits and they're building the team, but they also have got the bookings and they've got the sales. So that's what I wanted to have them sort of share. So why don't we do this? What I would love to do, let's start with you, Tori, is if you can share, because I think that this is where things really differ a lot, is how long do you run your parties, and do you do a pre-party? So I'm going to ask you like 3 questions together. How long do you run your virtual parties? Do you do a pre-party? And also, how do you host coach?
Okay, so I still run my parties the same way I did when I first started. I run my parties, the first actual day of the party is Friday, and I run it until the next Saturday so that there's 2 pay periods.
Okay.
But I start my pre-posting on Tuesday. So I do like 3 days of pre-posting.
Yeah.
And then get them ready for like what's going to happen. And then I go live Friday morning or Friday afternoon, usually if I'm outside with the kids. And I introduce myself and stuff. And what was so how many days?
Yeah, that's good. And then you run it from Friday to Saturday, so that's
Yeah.
about 8 days.
And then like 3 days of pre-posting. And I do host coach. I do a lot of using the host coach posts that were given to us by home office in the themes, in the virtual themes.
Okay.
Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it isn't. I feel like it depends on the group. It depends on the people who are in the party, if they're actually going to pay attention or not.
Okay. Well, and that is something, so whether the host is actually going to pay attention is what you mean?
No.
Oh, so even if the host, you don't find that it doesn't matter to whether the host is more active or not?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so that's not the key for engagement in your parties.
No.
Okay. Do you ever find that if you have a dead, let me ask you this, if you have a dead party,
Mm-hmm.
what is one little trick that you do to get in them to engage?
Well, I do a game every day, and I do some sort of other interacting type post.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to do a post that has nothing to do with Pampered Chef.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just anything that I find that like it's fall and what's your favorite pumpkin or apple or whatever. I find that those types of posts get people more interested.
Pull them in.
Mm-hmm. Because they're like Pampered Chef, Pampered Chef, Pampered Chef.
Yeah.
And I know they're there for a Pampered Chef party, but they like to see other things too, like your personality, what you have to offer them. So
let me ask you one more question before I go to Michelle. Do you do your parties in groups or events?
Groups.
Okay, that's good. And your host, it just adds them, or do you have your host ask them if they want to be included?
I have them post it to I give them something to post on their Facebook page, and they find out who is interested that way, and they add them, and then sometimes they just
add other people.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right, Tori, we'll be back to you. Michelle, Mrs. Mason, do you do groups or events?
I do events.
You do events. Okay, that's good. So we get a difference here. What about, tell us, how long do you do your parties? How long do you hold them? And do you do pre-party?
I start my parties on Tuesday and they end on Saturday.
Okay.
And I set up the event probably the Sunday before. And
Okay.
so once I set up the event, there's a few posts that I put on there. And that's kind of like my only pre-party. The only other thing I might do is either Monday night or Tuesday morning, a post like who's ready to party, show me your excitement with a GIF.
Yeah,
And then I just start my regular party on Tuesday.
you do. Okay. So that just goes from Tuesday to Sunday, or to Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
What about, how do you do, and I know what your answer is, are you doing much host coaching right now?
It varies from party to party, but
Yeah.
host coaching is not my strong point. I know there are some good trainings on Consultants Corner and everything that I need to look into to
Yeah.
be better with that. I have taken some of, like Tori does, the host coaching little pictures that we can send them, and that sometimes works. But I do all my host coaching through Messenger. And sometimes the hosts are involved with the party, sometimes they're not. I do find that the overall party goes better if they are involved.
Okay.
And so if they're not responding to my messages or not doing what I've asked them to, I do go under like a game, for example, and I tag the host in it and I say, can you please tag your friends here?
Great.
And that kind of gets them a little motivation.
Yeah, that's a good tip then. The tagging, I know, sort of brings people in, into
I do
it.
that too, actually.
Yeah. To do that.
You forget things that you do until somebody else says something and you're like, oh yeah, I do that.
Well, and that's why I wanted to do this, so that we can highlight those things. Because I'm thinking, Patty, am I right? Like, are these the kind of questions like that you would want to know in somebody that's being really successful, what they're actually doing? Here's an interesting question, because I know that it might be two different answers too. Michelle Mason, do you plan or use a certain template week to week?
Now, Anna, you already know the answer to that.
I know, I want you to share it.
No, I do not.
She just on the
I kind of just do it all on the fly.
whatever you decide you want to post. Where are you getting your
Yeah,
posts
whatever I
from?
feel like.
Yeah, where are you getting your posts?
Mostly from the virtual groups. I get a lot of the games from that Fun and Games group, and then there's the Pampered Chef virtual group that I get things from. And then
Okay.
sometimes I'll just go back to previous parties I've hosted and see what posts might have worked out well, or just grab a post that I've used in the past and put that in my current party.
Okay. Okay. Tori, do you plan out your posts from week to week, like a template?
I absolutely do. I am awful. I hate like not having something planned for my life in general. I
Yeah.
have to plan everything. I don't like spur of the moment stuff. Unless I find something that I'm going through and I see somebody post something and I'm like, oh, that's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll just add it to a party. But I use SynShare, or I use sometimes I use the scheduling on groups.
Yes.
But 99% of the time I'm using SynShare, and I plan my day the night before.
And where are you getting your posts from?
So I do create a lot of my own posts. I try to anyways. Sometimes I grab stuff off of the team pages. Sometimes I grab stuff off of the virtual groups that are for Pampered Chef on Facebook. And sometimes I do just grab stuff from the website.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So are you using, neither of you are just solely using the stuff under Market, the virtual party packs?
So I do. I use the party themes quite frequently, but I try to mix things into it too. So say they're doing the quick fix dinners party, like this last month and this month were the quick fix dinners. That's what I was using for the theme, but sometimes I'll grab stuff off of the other themes. Or I just put something else on.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but I do
Good.
use the themes.
You
quite
do.
frequently. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
They give you the words that you need
Yeah.
to help you. And if I'm not using the theme, I will just go right to the website and I'll go into the selling tips on the product itself. And I'll grab the pictures from the website, not from Consultant's Corner, but right from the website, and I'll just copy and paste them.
Okay.
That's a good idea. I never thought of using the selling tips that are listed there, but that's a good idea.
And that's where I get a lot of my pictures when I create my images.
Yeah.
I get them right from the website, and then I create my image, and then sometimes I'll just use the selling tip right inside the picture.
Okay, great. When you say you're creating them, what are you creating them on?
Canva.
Use Canva. Okay.
It's free.
Yes. Michelle,
Yes.
Here's one of the keys. Let's talk about bookings. Let's talk about how do you talk about bookings in your parties? How often do you do it? And I really am interested in knowing what your favorite, like what you think your most effective booking post is. Just turn the light on here.
I think that the picture that I use the most is the one about the 3 monkeys. And I offer my host a gift if they get 3 people to book a party.
Okay. Would you be willing after this to post those monkey posts on under this just so we can see them? Because I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
I don't know
I will share the monkeys with you.
Please. Okay, but that tends to be, again, when in your party do you usually post that?
Probably day 2.
Okay. And then is that the only
I post that and update it. No, I update it so that if somebody books the party, because there's the first picture has just 3 monkeys, and then like one, it's like the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil theme. So the first one, then you get a party, and then there's a hand over something, whether it's the ears or the eyes or whatever. And so I update it, and so sometimes the hosts are really involved with that, and they're like, oh, come on, someone book a party so we can see another monkey or something like that.
Okay.
The only problem that I have with the way that I do that is sometimes the host finds people to book parties that I don't think really want to book parties, but they do it just so they can get a free gift. But I've had more success than not with it. So even those that have gotten a gift and those parties haven't panned out, I still have at least gotten something from it, whether it was, another host, or if it was just a new customer, or just my name out there, you know what I mean? So I still think it's worth doing it. And I mean, depending on how well the party went, and it depends on what I send for a gift. I mean, if it's a customer that's, not local at all to me, then usually I'll just add something to their host order and I'll pay for it. But then, of course, you're getting that discount, their host discount. So it makes it less. Plus, you don't have to pay for shipping, and so it works out.
Do you talk to, when it comes to bookings, do you do other posts about, like, what hosts get for, like, telling them the benefits of bookings?
Yeah, I try to do a post about bookings almost every day, whether it's just one of those graphics that say, like it, place an order, love it, host a party, want it all, join my team. I think that's what they say. There's a bunch of different ones of those floating around online. And I'll try to post something like that. Sometimes I will tag a past host that's in the party and say, remember, because you booked a party, you hosted a party before, you're going to get 10% off when you order from this person's party.
That's a great idea.
And a lot of them don't even know that.
Right. Right. Yeah, they don't.
So,
What do you do? We're going to talk a little bit about how you talk to them, personally, but do you tend to do one-on-one sort of conversations with people too? Do you ask everybody that's in the party whether they're interested in hosting?
it all depends. Essentially, that's what I'd like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it works that way, sometimes it doesn't. But
Mm-hmm.
because you kind of got to do the full checkout like you would at a cooking show with the virtual party.
Yes. And that's what you do is when you are closing it out, you'll try to do that.
Right.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. So Tori, what about you with recruiting? Tell me about recruiting, the same kind of thing. Do you have, how often do you talk about it? Do you have a special post that you love that you think is more effective?
I don't really think that I have any one specific post.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do a booking every other day and a recruiting every other day, so I'm not throwing it all at them at once. So like one day I'll do a booking and I always do it near the end of the day because more people are looking at that stuff like closer to dinner time or after dinner. So I'll do a booking one day and then a recruiting the next day. And I don't really think that any of my booking or recruiting posts in general really do a lot. I feel like the way that I get more involved with the guests is when I message them. So I try to message as many as I can throughout the party, asking them how they like the party. Is there anything I can help them with? Stuff like that, especially after they've placed their order.
Right. Right. Okay. What about, do you have, let me think about this. Do you have a way, and this is where we're going to go into this, how do you talk with your people? I think that that's one of the, when Michelle's talking about the full service checkout, how do you create that personal relationship with your guests and your customers?
Well, like I said, I message people on Facebook through the party. So I'll shoot them a message and ask them how they're doing and if they are enjoying themselves and if there's anything they'd like to see, or, I kind of like just start talking to them that way and don't really say anything about, would you like to host your own party or anything like that until we've like had a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll kind of throw stuff out. I don't message everybody, but I do message mostly the ones that I see are seeing the posts or are involved.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And you personally you do the Facebook message then, and what if they're not your friend? Are you having a hard time for them to respond?
No, because sometimes I will just like in the middle of like a game or something, I'll be like, hey, P.S., check your messages. I think I sent you one. Something like that, just to kind of, so that they know that I have been reaching out to them.
Okay.
I don't add people as friends. I do not send ad requests unless we've already discussed doing a party.
Okay.
And that's when I'll send a friend request.
Okay.
Or sometimes they just send me friend requests.
Yeah.
So that they can see my posts and stuff after the party is over. They can keep up with me through Facebook.
Okay.
But I do have one post that I do, well, not really one, but I've been trying to use YouTube a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been, I do go live on YouTube and then I share the link on a post. Mm-hmm. And say, hey, follow me on YouTube. You'll never miss a thing, stuff like that. And I've had a few people subscribe to my channel that way.
Oh, so
Yeah.
fancy.
So I try
Good.
to do that.
Good.
But for the most part, I don't really feel like how she uses the 3 monkeys. I've tried those and they don't do anything. I tried doing a different type of early bird special this past the last month and this month. It's not really, people aren't catching on.
Yeah.
But I feel like the change in groups has been a problem too, because they have to click OK on the group now to show that they're going, or they're going to miss
Oh,
it.
yes. Yeah.
So I do have a post that I created for that,
Mm-hmm.
that I post periodically throughout the party so that they remember.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Good. How about you, Michelle? How do you have an interesting way of making sure that so that you can connect with them and they can see your messages?
Yeah,
I'll
I
be like
play
that.
games.
You what?
I do games every day in my parties where they have to private message me their answers.
Do you do that with all of your games, like your guessing games and stuff like that?
The guessing games they guess right on the post.
Okay.
But on the other ones, I do like Family Feud games. There was one last month about apples, like name the different types of apples.
Mm-hmm.
They had to private message me the answers. Right now, I'm doing a Halloween one.
Mm-hmm.
Name the Halloween villain, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to send me their answers in a private message.
Okay. So then do you get good response from that?
I do.
Okay.
There's a lot of people, when you send the message, if you're not friends, then they don't ever see them.
Right. That's always been my concern. But you're right, that if they're wanting to play the games, the way that they answer is by messaging you, then you have that connection.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like Tori said, sometimes if I've sent somebody a message and they haven't answered me or they haven't read it, I will tag them in like a game, like if they're playing the guessing game,
Mm-hmm.
and I say, hey, did you get my private message? And then they go check it and write me back. So then it opens up that line of communication.
And what do you usually say in that private message? Is that usually your like a full service checkout?
It varies.
Okay.
Usually this is more towards like the middle of the party.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, I do try to go and message everyone that hasn't ordered yet, just reminding them that the show is closing soon, that their host is, X amount away from their goal. And
Mm-hmm.
I do that too, but I don't usually tell them how far away they are.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had to go get my kids.
That's okay. They woke up. That's why Tori has to be organized. She has the 2 twins. Oh, hi, guys. Oh, we just got up from a nap.
Can you say hi?
Hi, guys. Hi. 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 We just got up from a nap.
Look
I
at
see
Megan.
them.
Do you see Megan? Do you see Megan?
hi.
Okay.
Let me ask you guys this just to sort of finish up, and then I would love if anybody has questions for them that you guys ask, something more specific. But what would you say if I asked you, and one thing, Michelle, that you think makes your Facebook parties, some more successful than others? What would you say that is?
Oh, that's a tough question. Because that's what I try to figure out is why some are better than others, why some get more sales than others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some parties, it's like you have 2 or 3 people that order, $100 a piece. And then you have other ones that I have 10 people ordering $20 worth.
Right.
And I mean, you're getting the same result out of it, but so I don't really know. I mean, I focus on the games and trying to get everyone involved. And
Mhm.
I do a lot of parties with younger people that are not really familiar with Pampered Chef. So I
Mhm.
try to push more of the lower priced products to
Mhm.
get them, familiar with Pampered Chef and the quality of the products and all of that.
Okay. So but do you think really the interaction and stuff, that what you said, trying to focus on getting them involved and playing the games, that's what they like?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. And it's good. I mean, even when it comes to cooking shows, you just can't tell how much people are going to buy, or so really it's the same kind of thing with a cooking show. When we talk about that, you want to really focus on your attendance, because the more people that you can get there, which is like the
right.
virtual party, the more people you can get involved and interacting, the better chance that you have. But again, we can't decide on and really focus on how much they actually purchase.
Right.
What about you, Tori? Do you have a certain
Being
thing?
attacked by Elmos and
Yeah,
blankets and okay, what was the question again?
that's all right. Is there one thing that you would say that makes your parties like more successful? Certain ones more successful than others?
Honestly, like I was saying before, look, bud, watch guppies. Like I was saying before, I feel like it depends on the guests.
Mm.
If they are really interested in buying something, then they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't feel like. Okay, let me rewind. I would have to say when I go live.
Oh, going live makes a big difference.
When I show the products,
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of people saying, "I love your videos." Like, and I try to just do it when there's no kids around, which I know is probably like a lot of people do it when their kids are around, but when they're this age,
Yeah.
it's not as easy.
Yeah.
Because they, mommy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when I go live, that gets people more interested in the products. And I always try and post something saying, what are you interested in? I need to know because I don't know you. Or I'll ask. That's one of my host coaching. I'll ask the host, hey, they know you. They don't know me. They came here for you. They didn't come here for me. So what is it that I can show them that you think they would be interested in?
Interested. Yeah. Good.
Going live is probably a big one.
Okay. So going live,
or posting a video that you created. It could be one that you've used a million times, but it's still showing something. But like I do games every day too, so those get people involved, and the point system so that they win something at the end of the party.
One of the things that, and let me just see if both of you would agree with this, because we talked about the show averages and stuff, but both of you have said, you know what, it really depends on the people. You could do all of those things, but if it's just the certain people in that group, they're not going to respond. And that's what, so would you make, would it be correct to make the statement that we need to, you sort of need to do 2 parties for every one that actually is successful? Would you say that?
Yeah, I think I would say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's just when it comes to virtual parties, that again, that the 2 for 1 kind of thing, knowing, and then best case scenario, both of them end up being really good, but that you really need to overbook and try to get them going versus relying on all of them. Alan, but instead of relying on all of them to come through.
I was just gonna say, I mean, you really need to get to know your host and get to know them and get to know the guests before you start assuming that they're gonna want to see certain things. Like our quick cooker is amazing, but not everybody's interested in that. Some people are more interested in just the smaller things. Some people want to smaller products or
Yeah, the
you know,
gadgets.
yeah, or even just the work rocks and stuff like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I always post about the bigger products, but when they say, "Oh, I love this" or "I love that," I throw other stuff at them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, well, if you love the can opener or if you love this, then you definitely love this. And if you
Right.
love the old micro cookers, you got to check these ones out, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just have to
Good.
get to know them. You have to get to know everybody before, and that helps sales is knowing what they like.
So a post even saying, what's your favorite product? You know, and then you can sort of find out from there.
Yeah, because the wish list post doesn't do much. No, but if you ask, what do you love? Most people are more involved in that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, I love this.
Yeah. What about, okay, does anybody, Patty or Megan, do any of you have questions for Michelle and Tori? Any burning questions?
None that I can think of right now, and Tori knows if I have one, I'll just send it to her.
What I'm thinking that we'll do is when I post the recording, so anybody that's watching this recorded, in the comments, if you have other specific questions for Michelle or Tori, just to tag them in the comments and ask the question that way. I think that would be the best way we can just sort of keep it all together.
And if we're not friends on Facebook yet, don't hesitate requesting me, or if you want to shoot me a private message or whatever, don't worry about it. I'm available to talk to you. Just because I got kids doesn't mean
yeah. Okay.
We all know I can.
Now, Megan just asked Michelle, why did you choose events, Michelle, versus group?
I've always done events. I've tried groups a couple times and I didn't have much success. And I like where in the events people actually get an invitation and they have to accept if they want to be in the event. So, yeah, you can send me a friend request as well, anybody.
It's kind of like that with groups too. Like I was saying, they have to click OK at the
right.
top of the party now so that they don't miss anything, but they don't have to accept an invitation.
Yeah,
right.
They don't actually get. I actually have a post that I've been putting in mine, actually, that I've been messaging my hosts when I can see, because you can see in the invited for groups, you can see who has been invited and hasn't responded. So I'll tell them, you need to go in here and message them as well. And you know what? And it's just, oh, go ahead, Michelle.
I was just going to say, in events too, you can see like who's been invited and if they've seen the invitation or not, and not said one way or the other. So sometimes I'll have my host go in and try to message them, or I'll even message them and just say, you know, make sure to click going or maybe so you can see the post in the party.
And I think that this is good too, to hear the different formats that you guys do, the different lengths. You know, again, I've been doing mine as mega shows, so I run mine like once a month for 3 days, and I have like 3 or 4 hosts in there at the same time. Jennifer Howe on our team, she does hers as 1 hour live events, but she just posts. So it's not like she's going live. She goes that night for an hour and just sort of put posts in there.
And that's something that I've been interested in, just to give a try. So she did add me to the one that's tonight, so that I can
good, so you can see. Because anybody, that's a great way to sort of do, you know, if any of these sound interesting, that I'm sure any of these girls will add you to one of their parties, that you can sort of see, you know, get an idea of what happens in them and how they work too. But that's what's great, I think, is that I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think that there's certain key things that, you know, both of these girls have talked about, you know, that interaction and the games and the making it fun and building relationships. You can, and having that personal contact with each customer. You cannot, am I right, just expect that you're going to post things on there and people are going to be purchasing. You cannot just expect that to just go through, post things, and that things will happen.
So you have to remember too, like a lot of the people who are hosting these parties, the people who are coming to the parties, they came for a reason. They came because there was something maybe that they've been wanting to get and they couldn't remember what it was, or, you know, something. And then while they're here, while they're in the party, whether it be a cooking show, virtual, or whatever, they're going to be like, oh, I like that. Oh, I never saw that before. You know, so you just have to remember, and some of them didn't come because they want anything. They just want to check it out. And I'm okay with that. If they don't buy anything and they're just checking it out, I'm cool with that, because maybe they'll want to host one themselves, you know? Who knows? That's why I always ask.
Well, that's it. Always asking, but again, having that personal, and you can't expect, Michelle, even that all of your bookings, they don't come from that monkey game, right? Some of them come from you personally talking to them and having a conversation. That's probably a really big key thing that I want everybody to leave from, is that personal contact with them. So wonderful. Well, good. If nobody has anything else, again, I want to be I know we're coming up on 1 o'clock. Thank you both, Michelle and Tori, for taking the time to share with us. Again, you both are rock stars when it comes with this, and I just love that we can all share and help each other to be successful. But again, if anybody's got any questions, I'm going to go through and do the whole recording and put it on to make sure that you comment below. And we can just sort of keep the conversation going. So good. Well, you guys have a great day. Thank you all so much. And maybe we just have to keep doing these trainings once in a while. All right, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.